So, in the previous episode, we talked about overheads and room mics. In this episode, we're going to talk about close miking and what mixing approach I will choose if I were to mix this project. All right, let's go. For the snare, I used the Shure Beta 57A. So this microphone, very good for not getting too much bleed from hi-hats. It has very good side rejection, and let me show you. It's not going to isolate the snare drum, for fuck's sake, but also I use this preamp here, the Golden Age Pre 573, which is a clone of the Neve preamp. So I used the Air switch here, which adds some high end. I used quite some gain and reduced it here later on to have a little bit more saturation. I think it sounds very nice. For the snare bottom, I used the classic 57. Let's hear them together. Let's flip the phase. Again. Yeah. Great role for the snare sound is in the room mics. Let's move on. Let's check the toms. So I edited those out, took out every part that wasn't a tom, and I do some tricks to remove the bleed as well, at least in the tails. So what you hear here, it sure contains some bleed, but it's very usable, I think. I only remove the bleed from the tail. Usually the drummer plays a crash or something on the one of the next bar, and there's some tail from the toms remaining, some sustain, but there's no when you hit a tom, there's no treble or high mid information left in the tom tail. So yeah, I just automate an EQ to cut the high end frequencies, which is nasty bleed. And for the tom mics, I used the Sennheiser 604, which is actually quite nice. I like it. It's very good for the money. I'm planning to buy a D6 for the floor tom to get more low end and, have the scooped EQ right from the start. And yeah, that's it for the toms. It's very important to have a very good drummer to hit the toms, actually. And Bill did an amazing job for this. So moving on to the kicks, that's a tricky one. I use the Sennheiser 602, which is my favorite kick mic. I like how organic it sounds. Organic meaning it doesn't sound as overprocessed as the D6, for example. I think it sounds a bit too much with the D6 every time I used it. On a kick, that is, but on the floor tom it's amazing. So I used this one, and at the time I didn't have another kick mic, so I thought to use the Shure SM7B in the porthole of in front of the kick, and it got some Uh, Not my favorite results, not what I was expecting, but still you can use it with some tweaking. It gets interesting with the high end and the high mids. So yeah, the main provider of low end for this recording is the Sennheiser here. It got it does the job, you know, but it lacks a bit of high end to cut through the mix. You know, it's not bad, but I would like a little bit more. We used the felt, not the plastic beater. So yeah, next time we totally are going to use the plastic beater, but just for you know, let's check how it will sound with a little bit of a 6 dB boost in the high mids. So I'm turning that off again. Yeah, as you can see, again, there's no trickery going on here. The only EQ going on right now is on the actual song, the drumless song, which you didn't hear, never. So, and that's like a mix that Nick sent me for the recording. It's not the final mix. It's like an MP3. So yeah, drumless MP3. Let's move on with let me show you the SM7B on the outside. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not what I was expecting. Also, check out my boy Bill here. He's playing his ass off. Also note, there's not a big difference from in dynamics from this part here and this part there, which is this one is much faster, and it's insane how good, how articulate everything is. In my book, this is totally usable. No need for triggers. We did record the trigger actually, but it's I will not use it. But let's hear everything together. So this is with the trigger. Definitely helps a bit with the transients, but yeah, you can still get there without it. So let's hear with the instrumental, with the drumless. We do have plenty of low end. What I will do if I was mixing this, I would just, you know, try compressor like that on the master, then the drum bus. Yeah, and now that we open this compressor, we do get a lot of kick low end. So I would address that. You know, I like treating drums as one instrument in order to get the best glue out of my drums. I like to treat them as one instrument, and yeah, I like to do some EQ moves on the drum bus actually first to get to where I want to. So yeah, after the compressor there was some low end build up, lots of it. So And probably I would group these guys here, the rooms, and shave some high-end information. Although they were recording with a ribbon mic, we'll also turn down a bit the fluids. Now it's a shame that I don't have the other instruments to, you know, mix that a little bit just for this video, but you can totally get the idea. And then, of course, I will do some more surgical cuts in a few moments. There are some crashes, some symbols. There's one symbol in particular that annoys me a little bit, and I will, do this. I will do some surgical cuts. So mind you, I did the cut on the master bus because this frequency is annoying everywhere in every mic. If it is annoying in the overheads, chances are that it's going to be more annoying in the close mics. So yeah, fuck that frequency overall. Alright, so if I was mixing this project with a more modern approach, like metalcore, new metalcore, or gent, or whatever, I would do much more processing, of course. But yeah, I think those tracks I recorded, they can take the processing, the too much processing, especially the shells, they can take it. Because we managed to keep our bleed in very low levels, and the drummer got some very consistent hits. So yeah, it's not going to be difficult to get a very modern sound from this.